hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's a hobo's lullaby. Do not think about tomorrow. Let tomorrow come and go. Tonight you're in a nice warm boxcar. Safe from all the wind and snow. I know the police cause you trouble. They cause trouble everywhere. But when you die and go to heaven, you won't find no policeman there. I know your clothes are torn and ragged. And your hair is turning gray. Lift your head and smile at trouble. You'll find happiness someday. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Don't you feel the steel rail humming? That's a hobo's lullaby. Coming in from London from over the pole, flying in a big airliner, chicken flying everywhere around the plane. Could we ever feel much finer? Coming into Los Angeles, bringing in a couple of keys. Don't touch my bags if you please, Mr. Customs Man. Yeah. Ticket to Mexico. No, we couldn't look much stranger, walking in a hall with his things and all. Smiling said he was the Lone Ranger, coming into Los Angeles, bringing in a couple of keys. Don't touch my bags if you please, Mr. Customs Man. tripping on the escalator. There's a man in the line and she's blowing his mind, thinking that it's already made her. Coming into Los Angeles, bringing in a couple of keys. Don't touch my bags if you please, Mr. Customs Man. Coming in from London from over the pole, flying in a big airliner, chicken flying everywhere around the plane. Could we ever feel much finer? Coming into Los Angeles, bringing in a couple of keys. Don't touch my bags if you please, Mr. Customs Man. Yeah, all right.
The Missouri, she's a mighty river, away rolling river. The red man's camp lies on her borders, away, we're bound away across the wide Missouri. A white man loved an Indian maiden, away rolling river, with an ocean sweet his canoe was laden, away we're bound away across the wide Missouri. Oh, Shenandoah, I love your daughter, away you rolling river. I'll take her across the rolling water, away we're bound away across the wide Missouri. The chief disdained the trader's dollars, away you rolling river. My daughter never you shall follow, away we're bound away across the wide Missouri. At last there came a Yankee skipper, away you rolling river. He winked his eye and he tipped his flipper, away we're bound away across the wide Missouri. He sold the chief that fire water, away river stole his daughter away. We're bound away across the wide Missouri. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to hear you away, you rolling river across the wide and rolling water. Away, we're bound away across the wide Missouri. As I went walking, ribbon of highway, I saw above me an endless skyway. I saw below me a golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. I've roamed and rambled, done a followed my footsteps through the sparkling sands of diamond desert, and all around me the voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. The sun comes shining as I was strolling, the wheat fields waving, and the dust cloud rolling. As the fog was lifting, the boys come chanting. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you. One more time. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. I don't want a pickle, just want to ride on my motorcycle. And I don't want a tickle, 'cause I'd rather ride on my motorcycle. And I
last night, the other day, I thought I'd go up and see Ray. So I went up and I saw Ray, and there was only one thing Ray could say was, I don't want a pickle. I just want to ride on a motorcycle. And I don't want a tickle. I'd rather ride on my motorcycle. Yeah, and I don't want to die. Just want to ride on my motorcycle. Late last week I was on my bike, running to a friend named Mike. Running to a friend named Mike. Mike no longer has a bike. He cries, I don't want a pickle. I just want to ride on my motorcycle. Yeah, and I don't want a tickle. 'Cause I'd rather ride on my motorcycle. And I don't want to die. Just want to ride on my motorcycle. Riding on the city of New Orleans, Illinois Central, Monday morning rail. 15 cars and 15 restless riders, 3 conductors, 25 sacks of mail. All along the southbound Odyssey, the train pulls out at Kankakee and rolls along past houses, farms, and fields, passing trains that have no name, and freight yards full of old black men, and the graveyards of the rusted automobiles. Good morning, America, how are you? Said, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Dealing card games with the old man in the club car. Penny a point, ain't no one keeping score. Pass the paper bag that holds the bottle, and feel the wheels rumbling neath the floor. And the sons of Pullman porters and the sons of engineers write their fathers' magic carpets made of steel. Mothers with their babes asleep, rocking to the gentle beat, and the rhythm of the rails is all they feel. Good morning, America, how are you? Said, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Nighttime on the city of New Orleans, change changing cars in Memphis, Tennessee. Halfway home, but we'll be there by morning. Through the Mississippi darkness, rolling down to the sea. But all the towns and people seem to fade into a bad dream, and the steel rail still ain't heard the news. The conductor sings his songs again. The passengers will please refrain. This train got to disappear in railroad blues. Good night, America, how are you? Said, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. I wanna hop on the last train in the station. Won't need to get yourself prepared. When you're on that last train for glory, you'll know you're reasonably there. Maybe you ain't walked on any highway. You've just been flying in the air. But if you're on that last train to glory, you know you must have paid your fare. Jailhouse. Maybe you are hungry and poor. Maybe your ticket on the last train to glory is the stranger who is sleeping on your floor. I ain't a man of constant sorrow. I ain't seen trouble all day long. We are only passengers on the last train to glory that will soon be long, long gone. I wanna hop on the last train in the station. Won't need to get yourself prepared. When you're on that last train to glory, you'll know you're reasonably there. I saw the splendor of the moonlight on Honolulu Bay. The something tender in the moonlight on Honolulu Bay. And all the beaches are filled with beaches who bring their ukes along. And in the glimmer of the moonlight, they love to sing this song. If you like ukulele lady, ukulele lady like you. If you like to linger where it's shady, ukulele lady linger too. If you kiss the ukulele lady while you promise ever to be true, and she sees another ukulele lady fooling around with you, maybe she'll sigh, maybe she'll cry, maybe she'll find somebody else by and by to sing to when it's cool and shady where the tricky wicky wackies woo. If you like the ukulele lady like you. She used to sing to me by moonlight on Honolulu Bay. Fond memories cling to me by moonlight, although I'm far away. Someday I'm going where eyes are glowing and lips are made to kiss, to see somebody in the moonlight and hear the song I miss. If you like ukulele lady like you. If you like to linger where it's shady, ukulele lady linger too. If you kiss the ukulele lady while you promise ever to be true, and she sees another ukulele lady fooling round with you, maybe she'll sigh, maybe she'll cry, maybe she'll find somebody else by and by to sing to when it's cool and shady where the tricky wicky wackies woo. If you like the ukulele lady like you.
Ukulele lady like you.
I don't want a pickle, just wanna ride on the motorcycle. And I don't want a tickle, I'd rather ride on my motorcycle. And I don't wanna die, just wanna ride on the motorcycle. You know, it's been about 12 years now that I've been singing this dumb song. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing that somebody could get away with singing a song this dumb for that long. But you know, hey, you know what's more amazing than that is that somebody could make a living singing a song this dumb. But that's America. You know, I told about everything there was to tell about it. When I wrote it, how come, why, what for. But you know, the one thing that I always used to neglect to explain was the significance of the pickle. It was the time I was riding my bike. I was going down a mountain road. I was doing 150 miles an hour. On one side of the mountain road, there was a mountain. And on the other side, there was nothing. It was just a cliff in the air. But I wasn't paying attention, you know. I was just driving down the road. All of a sudden, by accident, a string broke off my guitar. It broke, right there, went flying across the road that way, wrapped itself around a yield sign. Well, the sign didn't break. It didn't come out the ground. The string stayed wrapped around it. Stayed in the other end of my guitar. I held on to my guitar with one hand. I held on to the bike with the other. I made a sharp turn off the road. Luckily, I didn't go into the mountain. I went over the cliff. I was doing 150 miles an hour sideways and 500 feet down at the same time. Hey, I was looking for the cops. Because, I knew that, it was illegal. I knew that was it. I knew I didn't have long to live in this world. And in my last remaining seconds in the world, I knew that it was my obligation to write one last farewell song to the world. Took out a piece of paper. I pulled out a pen, and it didn't write. I had to put another ink cartridge in it. I sat back and I thought a while, and then it come to me. It come like a flash, like a vision, burnt across the clouds. I just wrote it down. I learned it right away. I don't want a pickle, just want to ride on my motorcycle. And I don't want to tickle, I'd rather ride on my motorcycle. And I don't want to die, just want to ride on my motorcycle. Hey, I knew it wasn't the best song I ever wrote. But I didn't have time to change it. But the most amazing thing was that I didn't die. I landed on the top of a police car. And it died. I come into town at a screaming 175 miles an hour, singing my new motorcycle song. I stopped out front of the deli, and out front of the deli was a man eating the most tremendous pickle. A pickle the size of 4 pregnant watermelons. Just a huge monster pickle. He walked up to me, pushed a pickle in my face, and started asking me questions. It was about the same time I noticed a pickle in my face. I noticed a cord hanging from the long end of the pickle going up his sleeve, down his shirt, into his pants and shoes, out into a briefcase he had near his feet. I knew it wasn't an ordinary pickle. But it was about the same time I noticed the cord hanging out of the pickle that a 4-foot cop arrived with a 5-foot gun. A cop that one time must have been around 6'3", but was met at the bottom of a mountain by a flying, singing, writing weirdo freak. He walked up and with one tremendous hand, he grabbed the pickle away from the other guy. He threw it 100 feet straight up in the air. And while the pickle was halfway between going up and coming down, he took out his gun and put a 3-inch bullet hole right through the long end of the pickle. It started coming back down. He stuck out his foot. He caught the pickle on his big toe. And balancing the pickle on his big toe, he reached his huge hand into his little pocket. Pulled out a 10-foot ticket. He borrowed my pen. He wrote it up. Then he rolled it up and stuffed it in a bullet hole in the middle of the pickle. Took the pickle with the ticket and shoved it down my throat. It was at that very moment that the pickle with the ticket was going down my throat that I knew for sure that I didn't want a pickle. I don't want a pickle. I just want to ride on my motorcycle. And I don't want a tickle. I'd rather ride on my motorcycle. And I don't want to die, just want to ride on my motorcycle.
I've been singing this song for a long time now, you know. It's been one of my favorite songs. I don't mean to interrupt it or nothing, but I even put it in the one movie I ever made. And I only made one movie. Because I saw it. That was enough. But we used to sit around that old church we made that movie in and sing this old song. And I wanted to put something real in the movie because I had to make an hour and a half worth of movie out of a 20-minute song. So they had to make some stuff up. And I wanted to put something real in there, and we used to really sit around and sing this old song. Lots of other songs, too. Some of you may have noticed in the newspapers last year that we was able to buy back that old building. It's nice to be back in there. We got some nice things going on. Some nice programs for kids that have been screwed around with too much, or old folks been left alone, or people in between dealing with AIDS and cancer and all kinds of stuff. And I won't talk too much about it now, but I just thought I'd let you know that, as a matter of fact, the second day I was in there last year, I guess, I was mopping up the floor, and the local preacher come by. It was at night. It was a glass door, so I couldn't run away or nothing. And he was there knocking at the door, and I let him in. He said, "Arlo, I just come by to see what you're doing over here." I said, "I'm not doing much, just mopping up." He said, "No, Arlo. What are you doing over here?" I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Arlo, what kind of church is this?" Well, no one had ever asked me before. So I said, "Well, it's a bring your own God church." And he was looking at me. He didn't want to smile. But you could see the smile creeping across his face. I said, "Well, you asked." And I didn't have time to think about it, but I said, "You know, every church, every synagogue, every temple, every mosque, every standing out looking at the stars is the bring your own God thing. Because you got to bring your own heart, your own mind, whatever it is, or you just bring your own standing there looking at it." He said, "Well, maybe you're right. Haven't seen him since, but I just wanted a moment to tell you that. Because it sort of puts for me this show tonight that we've been doing in a little bit more of a context of some kind. It's more fun than anyone can imagine to be up here, not just with your own kids, but with friends, and it's sort of like just one big family up here. That's what it feels like. And it reminds me of a story that my dad used to tell, because he was equally convinced that there wasn't but one big family around the whole world anyways. And it was the story of the two rabbits, Mama Rabbit and the Papa Rabbit. And one day they was out in the woods and they was munching like rabbits do. And far off in the distance they could hear the sound of dogs being carried to them by the wind. And they looked up and they stopped munching for a moment, and their little ears was going. The rabbits figured the dogs pretty well far away, so they just went back to munching, but now they was paying a little closer attention. But after a while, the sound of the dogs got louder. And the rabbits started getting nervous. And And as the sound got louder and louder, the rabbits looked off in the direction the sound was coming from, and through the trees over on the far hill, they could see a whole pack of dogs that was coming right toward them. And as the rabbits was looking, the dogs was looking, and they saw the two rabbits standing down there. And when the dogs saw the rabbits, boy, they started running. I mean, they took off. They were smiling. Their tails was going, their tongues was drooling, their faces was smiling. They was barking, yelling. They was, they were happy dogs. When the rabbits saw the dogs coming, they bolted. Boy, they took off. They started running around the trees and through the bushes and over the stones and everything. But no matter where they went, no matter how fast they went, the dogs kept getting closer and closer until finally the dogs was just about on them and the rabbits started getting tired. And in the very last minute before the dogs was on them, the rabbits jumped into the hollow of a log. And in the next instant, the dogs was all over the log. They were making quite a racket out there. But over all the noise, the mama rabbit said to the papa rabbit, she said, "Pop, I don't think we're getting out of here alive." But the papa rabbit just smiled. He said, "That's all right. We'll just stay here until we outnumber them." I love that story. Especially when people say to me, "Arlo, where you been for the last 20 years? I tell them that story. Just been home breeding. Now my own kids are starting to have kids. They're not leaving home neither. I keep saying, don't you want to go have your own place somewhere? You can come and go when you want, eat what you want. You can watch what you want. I could watch Star Trek or something. And they just look at me with a "Dad, get real" look. And I know I'm not alone. And I'm not alone around the world, because I think my dad and other folks is right. It's just sort of one big family. And ours is turning out to be more like the Waltons than I thought it was gonna. So I just wanted to say thanks for everybody here showing up in this one big family and singing these old songs and some of these new ones and remembering who we are. Because if you look at the TV, listen, to the radio or read the newspapers, you could get awful depressed about the state this family's in right now around the world. But if you were here tonight, you could sort of feel the heart of what it means to be just hanging out together. And sometimes we got to remember who we are, We live in a country where people speak thousands and thousands of languages and come from all kinds of places all around the globe. And for the most part, not all of the time, but for the most part, we figured out how to do that pretty well. But around the world tonight, in all kinds of places like Bosnia or something, people speaking 2 or 3 languages can't find a way to get along together. So we got to remember who we are, so when other people stop for a moment and wonder if it's possible to get along in this world, that we could be doing that for them. I was talking with Pete outside. I don't mean to be talking so much, but Pete reminded me of something. If the world was perfect and everybody had money and everybody drove a BMW or something, nobody was homeless, nobody ever got sick, everything was wonderful, everybody was smart and everything, happy all the time, you'd have to go an awful long way out of your way to make a difference in this world. You'd have to do a whole hell of a lot to try and improve the way it was. But in a world that sucks, like this one, you don't have to do very much at all. There was never a time in the history of the world where you could do so little and get so much done. That's right. You could do more with a little smile, just hold somebody, say hello to somebody, or just feel good by yourself, even when you don't feel like feeling good. So I just wanted to say thanks for coming. Let me give him my spiel there. It's been fun. Let me just say a thanks to the guys in the band who I did not introduce yet. Tim Sears on lead guitar over here. Jason Webster playing the other guitar right on back of me here. Collie Baba McConnell on the drums in back of us. Sean Hurley over on the bass. Well, so I guess we gotta sing this old song here together. You don't have to know the words. Just mumble. Trust me, I make a living doing it. And Pete's the one that taught me that you don't even have to know the tune. He said you just pick yourself a note and slide around till it feels good. Or until somebody slugs you sitting next to you or something. That's the worst that could happen. Help us out here. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that sings every
London from over the pole, flying in a big airliner, chicken flying everywhere around the plane. Could we ever feel much finer coming into Los Angeles, bringing in a couple of keys? Don't touch my bags if you please, Mr. Customs Man. Yeah, there's a guy with a ticket to Mexico. No, he couldn't look much stranger, walking in a hall with his things and all, smiling said he was the Lone Ranger, coming into Los Angeles, bringing in a couple of keys.